First of all, apologies for being late today. Sometimes in life we have a schedule set, and then the universe sends us something that changes the schedule. And sometimes that which we get sent feels really great, like it did today with Swami Ramdevji coming and having extra time. Sometimes what the universe sends us doesn't necessarily feel so great. We get sick, something happens, whatever it is, it throws our schedule off. But just as important as it is to have a plan and to have a schedule, it's equally important to allow the flow of life to flow through you. Whether it feels great, like tonight, or whether it doesn't feel great. But in every case, we need to create the plan, because as Pujya Swami always says, failing to plan is planning to fail. So we have the plan, but we have it with the awareness that this is our plan. And the universe may have a completely different idea in mind. And in many cases, like tonight, and in my personal life, like where my life has gone, the direction my life took, in many cases, the plan the universe has is far more wonderful than what we had planned. But if we don't allow ourselves to have that space for flexibility, if we hold with this death grip on the plan we make, the schedule we make, then there's no space for the flow of life to flow through us. So that's what happened tonight. Nonetheless, apologies for being late. We'll take one question, since we are already running late, and we'll take more back on our normal schedule tomorrow. But the question that we'll take tonight is one that came in about having started a psychoanalysis process. And how can psychoanalysis and meditation go together? And it's a topic I love on a personal level because I come from a background of psychology. It's what I was in the midst of getting my PhD in before I came to India. So I love psychology, and I've spent the last 20 plus years being blessed to be in this world. Here, in a nutshell, is the relationship between them. What we are told in the spiritual teachings, and what we know to be true on the absolute highest, deepest, most enlightened level, is there is nothing but God. This is what Swami Ramdevji was speaking about briefly. There is nothing but God, and knowing that is the highest truth and the highest awareness. That we're going to hold over here. Highest truth, deepest truth, highest enlightened awareness. There is nothing but God. And then over here, we have this also very real experience of being humans in a body. And one way to think about it, it's not a perfect metaphor, but one way to think about it is waves on the ocean. So when you have a wave, is that wave real, or is the wave an illusion? And arguments can be made for both. On one level, it's nothing but ocean. The wave is not a separate thing. It's ocean. And yet, if you stand in front of a tsunami, no matter how deep your awareness is that it's just ocean, you're still going to be drowned and die. Because the ocean in that moment is in a form that even though on the deepest, highest level is an illusion because it's all just ocean, nonetheless, that form has a power and has a presence and has a reality. And that presence and that reality will eliminate the presence and the reality of the form of your body if you don't run to higher ground quickly enough. So that's what we hold over here. Now, coming back to our question about meditation and psychoanalysis, what I have found is that they are actually both crucial. Neither of them does the job of the other. When we do our spiritual practice, when we meditate, we have the experience of the truth of who we are. We have the experience of light. We have the experience of love. We have the experience of peace. We have the experience of expanded consciousness. We have the experience of connection. And yet, that doesn't mean that in this body, in this form, with this mind, that we're done. There's a term that's used called spiritual bypass. And the concept of a spiritual bypass is you have a very deep, very real spiritual experience. And from that deep spiritual experience, you decide, I'm done. I mean, if you have the experience of being one with God, being one with the world, you think, I'm done. Like, really, I still need to go to therapy? I mean, I've connected with God. I have felt the divine within me. Really, I still need to sit on a shrink's couch and talk about, my parents? It doesn't make sense. And the dilemma that has been seen over and over and over again, and which is why this whole concept of spiritual bypass was coined, is tragically, simply having that experience in meditation does not make you able to necessarily have a good relationship with your parents, have a good relationship with your spouse, have a good relationship with your in-laws. Many of us have had the experience of feeling or saying something like, I'm in such peace, such joy, such bliss, such awareness, until this person comes home, or until I have to see that person, or until I'm in a situation with that person. Well, if a person can undo your experience of being one with God, then you're not done. It doesn't mean that your experience of God was any less. It doesn't mean that your spiritual experience was any less powerful or deep than you think. It just means that in addition to being the ocean, you are also this waveform. In addition to being God, you also have this body. And this body comes with the mind, and the mind comes with all of its sanskaras, all of its emotions, all of its reactions, all of its temptations. So, meditation shows us who we are and what the truth is. What psychoanalysis helps us do is actually be able to live that every day. If we find, and this is not, by the way, true for everyone. There are many people for whom meditation is enough. But pretty much the criteria for that are things like, do you have any issues at all with your childhood? Do you have any issues with your parents? Are you able to spend days on end living back in your parents' house or with your parents living in your house and not have any emotional reaction? And whether it's your biological parents, whether it's your in-laws, are you able to have a relationship with a spouse, with a loved one, with friends, that doesn't fall into competition, jealousy, victimization? Are you able to be in the present moment without an identity that's decades old? If you are, then meditation is enough. But for many of us, there's baggage, there's stuff that we may have had these incredible experiences. I remember on a personal level, I had been here, I don't know, maybe 6 months, 9 months, and I had through Pujya Swamiji's grace, through Ganga's grace, the most incredible spiritual experiences, opening, awakening, vision, the whole package. And about 6 or 9 months into it, somebody did something, the details of which are irrelevant, and it threw me right back into this place of being a victim. And I went to Pujya Swamiji complaining about, oh my God, this happened. And he looked at me and he said,